Honestly, you won't need the next version of the Fuji X100 series. You'll need this instead. This is the Fuji X-E4 and it's probably one of my most favorite cameras to own. You're able to do everything that the X100V can do and more, in my opinion. I know the form factor of the X100V is that you can have a great point and shoot camera, which I think is great, but for the price point that you can usually get a used X100V that's around $1,600 if you're lucky, you can get a used Fuji X-E4 at around $900 and a pancake lens for about $350, which has been one of my favorite combos to simply go out and create some photos with a small setup. And you know what's cool about this camera? You can actually eventually change lenses as you keep growing your likes, as you take more photos. It really just makes more sense to me personally to get this camera. This camera feels good in my hands and it inspires me to see things differently. I even see things differently than when I'm using my Sony cameras. It almost makes me feel like I'm able to create art rather than having a more business type of feel when I use my Sony cameras. I've actually talked about this before when it comes down to the difference of shooting between Fuji and Sony in a previous video of mine, which funny enough, people kind of made fun of the way I pronounce Fuji because it's different, even though, I mean, I guess my accent is just, it is what it is. But honestly, I don't think I'm alone in the thoughts when it comes down to thinking that this camera is probably one of the great ones from Fuji. The beauty of this camera is I can simply grab my X-E4 and try to find things around my house that I can photograph, because this camera lets me see things a lot differently. And it's all honestly due to the recipes that you can incorporate into the camera and save them in camera to be able to access them fast and easily, just to see how it would look within the camera itself to get the right recipe right away that you would want to use for that photo. This really just helps me see things differently and it makes me feel like I'm creating art differently. I love being able to just see the light hit through the window and I feel like I can take a simple yet lovely photo with this camera. It makes me want to photograph simple things that most people would have overlooked, or that even myself, I would have overlooked and would have thought they weren't worth photographing. This camera lets me go through my saved recipes and at that moment, just find the right one that might interpret what I'm feeling or portray my emotions and mood right in camera to capture what I think would look great to me and for the photo. But whether it's having a rich, colorful film recipe to capture things around my house, moments and memories, or maybe a black and white photo to document a different atmosphere and mood, this camera really just brings out the best in you. It will help you photographing for yourself and can help unlock something within you that you probably didn't know you had creatively. Yeah, I know, I'm sure you can achieve this with the X100V, so you don't have to go ahead and write a paragraph about it in the comment section. Or I guess if you truly do want to, you can. I'm not gonna stop you, I really can't. But I'm just expressing a little bit of my feelings when it comes down to this Fuji X-E4 camera that I think you can get for a better price than the X100V, and that you can use all the same recipes basically. So go on the hunt and see if you can find one of these amazing X-E4 Fuji cameras with this killer combo of a pancake lens or maybe a different type of lens that you want to, that you find interesting, because I can't think of a reason why you shouldn't. The X100V will be a pricier and harder thing to get, and even with the updated release that's possibly coming out of the X100V soon, I'm sure it'll be the same issue of being able to get it at the actual retail price since it's gone for a lot more than before. So why not get this camera instead? Because I know that despite of having this camera theoretically discontinued, you're still able to find it at a more reasonable price for a good size of body compared to the X100V with having the pancake lens, because that's one of the main reasons people love that X100V to it. It's just the pocket-sized feel of it, which, to be honest, this is still very pocket-sized to me, and you're able to do so much with it that you're not gonna be worrying about the size. But now, if you ever evolve your likes of photography and you wanna try out different types of focal ranges, this allows you to do that. But regardless of whether you want to get either of these cameras, I'm just hoping that you feel like you can find one that can help you be creative and Create the art you're wanting to feel happy and proud of. I truly believe that with this camera, you can do that. And for me personally, I think it's great to share experiences with gear that will help us achieve our full potential to create and, be the best artists that we can be and not gatekeep.